Good morning, and again, thank you for joining me here as we seek to save jobs in Georgia. The Georgia Department of Banking and Finance is the state agency that regulates and examines state chartered banks, state chartered credit unions, and state chartered trust companies. The department also has regulatory and/or licenses authority over mortgage brokers, lenders, and processors. Their motto is safeguarding Georgia's financial services. The Department of Banking and Finance has been working diligently with us in trying to resolve a real problem. On Tuesday, December 15th of 2009, in Washington, D.C., the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development announced publication of a proposed rule setting the minimum standards that states must meet to comply with the Secure and Fair Enforcement Mortgage Licensing Act of 2008, and that's called the SAFE Act, in licensing loan originators. I am joined with a representative group of those loan originators today. On that date, December 15, 2009, the proposed rule was posted in that day's Federal Register and on HUD's website. We are definitely in agreement with the FHA Commissioner, David Stevens, when he stated, implementation of this act is a critical addition to our system of regulatory protection that will benefit both consumers and financial institutions. The SAFE Act was enacted into law on July 30th of 2008. It was part of the Housing and Economic Recovery Act of 2008. It is designed to enhance consumer protection and reduce fraud by encouraging states to establish minimum standards for the licensing and registration of state-licensed mortgage loan originators. SAFE also mandates that the creation of a nationwide mortgage licensing system and registry, which is the NMLSR that many of you have heard about. It encourages all states to provide for a licensing and regulatory regime for all residential mortgage loan originators. The states are charged with enacting licensing standards that meet the requirements of the SAFE Act. However, overall responsibility for interpretation, implementation, and compliance rests with HUD. To comply with this act, states must put in place a loan originator licensing program that requires originators to take an education course, pass a safe mortgage loan originator test on a national level, and undergo civil, criminal, and financial background checks. States have until July 31st of 2010 to have their loan originators licensed under this SAFE Act. This is what most of the other states have done. They have to July 31st. This is criteria unless they already have them licensed under a different system. If already using a different licensing system, they have until December 31st of 2010 to bring them in line with the state's Act's requirements. Mortgage loan originators in Georgia must actually pass 3 tests: the national component, the state test, and the test at the end of the course. Why are we here today? After the announcement of the December 2009, the 20-hour SAFE class was not available in the state of Georgia until the latter part of January of 2010. The SAFE class was not available every week. If anyone failed the test, Safe mortgage loan originators tests on the national component, they had to wait 30 days before they could retake this test also. Career mortgage loan originators didn't have enough time to prepare for the test. Passed the course and the 3-week test by March 31st, given that they didn't even know what was required until January of 2010. In late March, it came to the attention of the Georgia Department of Banking and Finance that issues such as limited testing availability and maintenance on the test scheduling system may impede mortgage loan originators from filing complete applications for licensure by the March 31st, 2010 deadline, pending that time. To give all mortgage loan originators the opportunity to file timely applications in light of these unforeseen occurrences, the department extended the filing deadline for all applicants. But they extended it for 15 days, from the March 31st to April 15th. They would not have done this unless they realized that there is truly a problem. We believe the deadline should have been and should now be extended to July 31st of 2010 to mimic the federal deadline. We further believe mortgage loan originators should be conditionally allowed to originate residential mortgage loans until final action is taken on this application by the department, provided that they submit a complete application for a Georgia license by no later than Friday, July 30th of 2010. To do anything less than the above would be to knowingly cause the demise of hundreds of jobs and businesses in our communities, thus preventing good loans in the same communities and erasing the dream of home ownership to thousands. On April 16th, the extended date for the certifications to be processed in the state of Georgia, hundreds of mortgage loan originators and companies have lost their jobs. They have been unemployed in the field, and even companies had to let almost all of their employees go because they had not passed those tests or didn't know whether they passed the test. Many had taken it but had not even received their test scores. And they were told, well, it will take 8 to 10 weeks. But in the meantime, they cannot work. This is not right. We should be about putting people back to work, not causing undue duress in the communities. When this situation was brought to my attention in early April, I aggressively sought the assistance of the governor and the lieutenant governor and the Senate Banking and Finance Committee chairman. My fight led me back to the director of the SAFE Act in Washington, D.C., Jim Beavers. Mr. Beavers advised my office that they wouldn't have any problem with Georgia moving their effective date of certification to July 31st, 2010, or to December 31st, 2010, because they will not take any action until after December 31st of 2010. I will be meeting with the Georgia Banking and Finance Commissioner, Rob Braswell, on tomorrow, and I hope that we can seek some solution to this problem. Thank you for joining us today. This is your legislative process at work for the citizens of Georgia, and I thank you.